It's Monday night. The House of Orange is live. Appreciate you tuning in. This is Frank. Going to talk some Vols football tonight. Of course, scrimmage one's in the books. We're on week 3 of preseason camp. And before we go any further, we got 8 of you in here. We're going to build this thing up. Make sure you hit that like, that share, and if you want, hit that subscribe button if you have not already. Got a guest tonight. Got one of the guys I love having on here. So taking a little break from his channel right now, backwoods Tennessee, but standing 6'8". He's coming to a gym near you, coming to a basketball court near you. Probably going to have that Power Stroke diesel being pushed around the parking lot. None other than backwoods Tennessee's in the house. What's going on, man?
How's it going, man? How are you?
Doing good. Ready for football. What you feeling right now? What's your excitement level right now?
Well, you're always excited for football season. You only get it for a few weeks out of the year. Seems like it's gone forever. Then, you hear the predictions and, the whisperings of who's playing well, who's stepping up, and just makes you miss it. And then it comes around and seems like it's already gone again. So I'm pumped up to see how this team does. I definitely have my question marks about, some aspects of the team, like we all do, I'm sure. But more than anything, just excited and ready to see Tennessee at the field again.
Yeah, absolutely. It's lots of questions been out here. What's going on with the quarterbacks? The reports have not exactly been great, but then I look at some numbers and I'm like, I don't know. Maybe the numbers are overrated, but I mean, like today, some of them seem pretty good. So let's get right into this thing. Of course, scrimmage number 1 happened over the weekend. I'll ask your question on this because we didn't really talk much about it, but how legit do you think this quarterback battle is?
Hard to say. I feel like they brought Joey Aguilar in to be the guy, obviously, and kind of in a scramble mode, kind of a bad situation for both parties, right? Nico leaves kind of late, right before the spring game. They have to try to find somebody really quick, just so kind of funny. We swapped quarterbacks, us and UCLA. But, he comes in a little bit late. He's never been in this system, but he also has probably more physical capabilities than I would say Jake has and George. But he's also has a little bit more arm talent or maybe a stronger arm than the other 2 guys. I think they're all getting a shot. I truly think Heupel is not like some of the old coaches that we have. I think he's going to put the best guy out there. But I don't know. The things I've been seeing, I've been hearing that, Aguilar is probably the better overall quarterback right now. I've seen where Jake Merklinger has been more accurate at times, but I've heard a lot of people saying George McIntyre has the most talent out of all 3. But I think at the end of the day, more than likely Aguilar will be your starter week 1. But if he doesn't play well, I can definitely see somebody else get put in there.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I'll be surprised if it's not Aguilar. I think kind of the common thing, a lot of people are saying McIntyre's the most talented. He's just not there physically. But, I mean, at what point, though? I mean, it's not like we haven't had true freshmen before. I mean, Ainge was somebody put today 6'6", 200 back when he's there. I don't know what McIntyre is listed at. I want to pull that up. Actually, I know he's a pretty tall dude. Let me pull that while I'm looking. But, I mean, like I said, though, it's kind of got to be a point, in my opinion, the best guy needs 6'6", 195. I mean,
that's what I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Merklinger is 6'3", 215. Aguilar 6'3", 225. So definitely a difference in that one. That's probably where you see Merklinger at next offseason around what Aguilar is now. You'll probably see McIntyre closer to where Merklinger is now. And then, of course, you put Faison Brandon into the fold as well. Let's see. We got 15 people. We're a little bit slow out of the gate tonight. But if you can, guys, share that out for me. I'd appreciate that. Hopefully we'll have a good crowd. We'll go to about 9 o'clock or we'll see. Well, maybe a little less, but no more than 9 for sure. Quarterback's obviously the biggest thing coming out. I mean, today it was put out, and I talked about it in video. I put out Ryan Shumpert, Rocky Top Insider. He normally, each day that he watches, he will kind of keep the stats on the throws. And I know that today he said Aguilar was 16 out of 18. McIntyre, I think it was 13 out of 15, and Merklinger was 6 out of 15. Now, according to that as well, it sounds like maybe the receivers didn't do Merklinger a lot of favors, but still yet. I don't know. To me, 16 out of 18 is pretty good. What do you think?
It's weird because I hear all these guys in the media say that they only give them like 5 minutes to go and watch practice. And, they try to get as much info as they can in those 5 minutes. Then the coaching staff kind of gets upset whenever they overreact, whenever they only have a small portion to overreact to. But it's hard to say, how many of those throws are receivers is dropping the ball, that maybe, what receivers were they working with? Are they working with all the ones? Are they working with all the twos? I don't know if it's been split up at this point or not. But I mean, that's definitely not what you want to hear, right? Going into, 2 weeks away from the season right now. You want to hear guys completing the majority of their passes. So, I mean, if I told you I was super confident in any of the three, I'd be lying. I just don't know. I just don't know. You're right. It's, Aguilar, he's had a lot of experience, but he's not been going against the elite of the elite in the SEC. Will that translate? It's just a Hendon Hooker type situation where, a guy comes that's kind of been forgotten a little bit, comes into a Josh Heupel offense and shines. I'm not really sure. Aguilar's not going to have a guy like Jalen Hyatt and Cedric Tillman to throw the ball to. The wide receivers are extremely, they've not been proven whatsoever. We have nobody really with any experience besides Chris Brazzell. So, I don't know. Definitely haven't been filled with encouragement from the quarterback battle at this point, but they could prove me wrong.
Could it be a case of, it's kind of, we've heard this thing before though, have we not? I mean, it feels like it's almost in every fall camp thing of quarterbacks aren't looking that good. And then, I can't remember 2022, what they said about it, but I know 2021, Milton had beat Hooker out. So obviously Hooker wasn't looking great. And even those in attendance, people that played during that time and stuff said it was legit, that Milton was better in practice. But, we're seeing it now, Milton with the Cowboys, that he's just throwing these 75-yard bombs and wowing everybody. But, I think the difference with him and Hooker processed things. He could get rid of the football. He could manage the offense better. Milton might have had a little trouble processing things as well. Not saying that he's dumb or nothing like it by any means. It's just some guys process it, some don't. That's what I'm curious to see out of these quarterbacks. And is Aguilar going to be able to process it better than, say, McIntyre and Merklinger, or is it all about the same? But, I think we learn – I don't know. Do you think the Syracuse game tells us a lot?
I think it'll tell you some. From what I've seen about Syracuse, they've lost a lot from a decent team, but they're going to be nothing like they were last year. So I don't know how much exactly Syracuse tells you. You'll know for sure at the end of week 3 after Georgia comes to town. I think you'll know what you've got. But at the end of the day, some guys are just gamers. They in practice, some guys just don't turn it on until the game. I believe I heard some people say that, Jalen Hyatt, didn't really show out in practice, but then whenever the lights came on Saturdays, well, obviously we know what he did, right? Blitnikoff award winner. Yeah. Some guys just, for whatever reason, practice, you just don't see a lot. Then whenever the lights come on, they show out. So, but Syracuse, I don't really know. I truly think maybe a couple quarterbacks will play. A lot of people has been saying they think we, blow the doors off Syracuse. I don't know how true that is, but I think you'll know at least who's got it between the eyes after the Syracuse game, because it's going to be D1 defense, right? So they'll have to make decisions, fit the ball in pretty tight spaces. So I have a better idea than practice, I'll tell you that, I guess.
Yeah. The thing I've looked on Syracuse, they lost a ton of guys last year. They put up some big numbers, had a good year. I just think that'll be hard for them I mean, you never know in year two. I mean, we saw Tennessee surprised in year two, but Tennessee had Hendon Hooker coming back. Syracuse they're breaking in a new quarterback transfer from Notre Dame. So I think that'll be harder for them because, again, I think that quarterback, I can kind of compare it because their coach, it seems like a really good coach, come from Georgia, Fran Brown. And I think he's putting together a good program, but how far is he into that? And, losing that many guys is kind of hard to replace. I expect Tennessee to take care of business in that game. I don't know if they'll blow them out or not. But, I mean, we saw the last 2 years, Virginia 2 years ago. I mean, we blew them out, but really missed a lot of opportunities, right?
We did.
And then NC State last year was the second game in Charlotte. And or was it third game? I can't remember. It was second or third. I was there. I just can't remember the week that it was. But, there was pretty handily beat NC State, but left some opportunity out there. I could see the same thing here, but I'm like you. Week 3, you're going to find out, because if there's some early season weaknesses, they'll get exposed in that game. But back in the day, it's probably before your time when we used to beat Georgia regularly. We played them early in the season. So maybe that will shift back in that regard at this point. That'd be big. That'd be big for them as well. Is it a case, though, in practice, too much is made about with the quarterbacks and maybe not enough on how good the defense is?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's our job being outside of the team to overreact on everything that comes out of practice, right? And, I mean, we've played sports, our whole lives, not to this level, but you have good and bad days in practice, and people always remember the bad. They never quite remember the good as much as the bad, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's, things happen in practice. Who knows? What I am kind of curious about, did you look much into that blur gate that was going on with the guy that was blurred out throwing the interception?
Yeah, it wasn't even a quarterback.
It's Kitzelman, right?
Kitzelman, yeah.
So does that mean we're going to maybe see some trick plays this year? Is it, does Heupel have some things up his sleeve? Are we going to see maybe some trick plays out of that 12 personnel that we saw last year? I don't know. I'm curious.
I couldn't pick up I couldn't really tell the angle where the ball was coming from on it because it looked to me like Kitzelman and somebody else was just kind of jogging. So but I mean, there's a part of it too. Looked like the angle came from that way. So, I mean, could the quarterback have been more out of the picture or what? I don't know on that. I'd be interested because if I'm not mistaken, the players get full access. I think, now I could be wrong on that because I know the media doesn't, but I'm thinking, I don't know, man. You're going against a really good defensive linebackers. I know the secondary was down a little bit this past week. I had a lot of guys out, but man, I have a hard time believing that this offense will go against a much better defense this year. You might see, Georgia's might be better for sure. Georgia's always got athletes. Alabama's normally got athletes. Who else? Out of the top 25, which we'll talk that in a minute. 4 teams, see Florida. Florida's been putting some athletes together, and then Oklahoma's going to have them as well. So, those will be good defenses, but will they be any better than Tennessee's? I don't know. I think it's an iron sharpens iron type deal, to be honest.
That probably plays into it a lot, too. I mean, you think about the guys they're going up against in practice every day, and correct me if I'm wrong. Today I was thinking just how kind of Tennessee's team looks this year. It reminds me a lot of kind of like a 2022 Georgia team, where Stetson Bennett was the quarterback. He's a solid QB, a really good game manager. He made the throws when he needed to, right? They had a really good defense, an elite defense even. Had playmakers on offense, but he just did what he had to do on offense. Could Joey Aguilar be that guy Tennessee's ran the football really well the last 3 years. Can they run the football well, play good defense, and him make the throws he needs to? I don't know. It seemed like that was a good recipe for Georgia there for 2 or 3 years. I just wonder if Tennessee can maybe, copy that blueprint that they had there. I don't know.
I mean, it's possible because he could make plays with his legs too when he needed to. And, he ended up being a pretty solid quarterback. And, the thing about it, and somebody brought this up in one of the comments over the weekend, who was Georgia's best? I mean, their running game was strong, but as far as the passing game, who was their best players? It was the tight ends. What's Tennessee's best players outside the running game looking like it's going to be? Possibly the tight ends with what we said. It could be similar. I mean, the thing of it is, can Aguilar manage, which I'll be surprised if it's not him. Can he manage it and not turn the ball over? Because he has thrown a lot of interceptions the last 2 years, but he's not at Appalachian State this year either.
Right.
He's not playing from behind all the time like he was last year. I mean, App State had their coach get fired. So that tells you something right there. Let me hit some comments here. We're up to 42. We're slowly gaining here on this Monday night. Eric Smith says Josh Pate says a QB1 battle is being influenced by cell phone addiction issues. Hopefully not us. Okay, that's an interesting Pate makes some interesting comments sometimes. I think there's a part of me thinks it's all show, this quarterback competition is, and that it's Aguilar's to go. I mean, I think the thing that's making it harder, at least to me, is how good George McIntyre's doing. Because it seems to me like Merklinger's kind of falling behind a little bit here. So, and I could see it too where, I mean, tell me if this makes sense. Aguilar comes out as a starter this year. McIntyre may be the second or even the first best, but he's third string because they save him for a red shirt. Merklinger's your backup, and then, I mean, worst case, neither guy's getting the job, then you go to McIntyre. I mean, is that crazy?
No, I can definitely see that. I think you're right. I think Aguilar, I think it's his to lose at this point. I think he would have to do something pretty atrocious to lose that job at this point. But, I mean, if Merklinger doesn't win the job, which I don't think he will, I think he's pretty much gone after this year. If he wants to play, because you've got Faison Brandon coming in. Looks like McIntyre is already, his ability is already higher than Merklinger's. If Aguilar wins the job this year, I just think Merklinger will go somewhere else next year. If he doesn't win the job, which I don't think he will. So I think, you won't see Merklinger on this team next year unless he were to win the job.
Interesting.
But, yeah.
It's interesting. It's possible because, I think a lot of people kind of thought that. How are you going to keep Merklinger, Faison, McIntyre all happy and keep them there in this day and age of college athletics? Because guys don't like to sit. Like, you might be able to, I don't know. But, my thing is with it, if Aguilar goes through the season on it, you've got an open competition, and then one of them probably leaves at the end of spring ball or something, unless they say, well, we're going into the season, it's an open competition again. But, I can't see where it doesn't eventually lead to somebody leaving. I really don't. BR243 said, I'm sending G-Mac a peanut butter gift pack. So he's wanting to get him up over 200 pounds. They're at 195. We'll get him a peanut butter gift pack. That'll put some weight on. That'll put him there. I agree with this one. Just not putting the media's not seeing probably 3/4 or more practice based on what it sounds like. So, yep, Hooker was not a practice connoisseur by any means, it didn't seem like. Let me hit some more here. Chatsworth, what's up, man? Said, I do not expect us to blow out Syracuse. Wouldn't surprise me. The line's at just at 2 touchdowns. I think if you win around that, that's a pretty good start. It's an ACC team. I think even though they've lost a lot of guys, I think they're on the upswing. I think they're a good coach team. So it's first game too with breaking in a new quarterback. Mason Guest, member of the channel, said Syracuse lost a massive amount of their production from last year. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's something to keep an eye on. I mean, the quarterback from Notre Dame, I think, is decent because some people mention him as possibly would Tennessee go after him to come in. I need to look his name up now because I don't have it. But, it's a guy who come in against Penn State in the playoffs and did a good job in relief. Let's see here. Interesting question here. I wonder if there may be multiple games this year when the D outscore or scores more points than the O. It'll be interesting, man.
Definitely a possibility. I could see it happening, unfortunately.
There was a guy today commented, and he said, will this offense average 10 points a game? I said, nope, 9.7, but they're going to hold opponents to, 6.7 or something. Said so. 12-0 with the lowest points per game, maybe in college history. Oh, it matter. It can be 2-0. It doesn't matter. A win's a win.
Kicking it back to the old days of those scores.
Oh, goodness. I don't know that I could handle that every game, a 10-7 game or something. That would just, I don't know about that.
What was it? Last year we had 3 or 4 games. We didn't score a point in the first half, or was it a touchdown?
Yeah. It was like 3 or 4 in a row. I mean, it was just every week. It was like, here they go. And then it would be just something self-inflicting. I know Samson got a little fumbleitis for a bit. I mean, I can't remember if it was necessarily interceptions, but it seemed like it was just something. Turnover on downs. It was painful to watch. I mean, do you think this offense will be better than I'll say the last 2 years, or you think about right on par with it?
I mean, from what I've seen, we know without knowing how it's going to go, I would say it probably on par with how it's been. I truly believe that Kitzelman can be Joey Aguilar's best friend. I don't see why Kitzelman could not have, couldn't play that same role that Brock Bowers did in Georgia's offense. I mean, he loves the block, which is a great thing for the run game. But he's also, I mean, we saw last year, even with how our offense was kind of dysfunctional, Kitzelman played pretty well, I thought.
Yeah.
And from everything I've seen, the tight end room looks like maybe our best room on offense. I've heard the running backs look pretty well as well. But I don't see why Kitzelman couldn't go off this year, and if they do have to run some of those 2 tight end sets, I don't see why they couldn't get creative and utilize some of those guys, because they say the tight ends look incredible in camp. That's been one of the bright spots on the offense. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm curious to see how Heupel plays it this year. We all know he knows he's a quarterback whisperer, and he's, an offensive genius. I'm really curious to see what his offense looks like this year, with a little bit of a thin wide receiver room and an unproven quarterback this time, because, it seems like he's always – that's what was so unfortunate about the Nico situations, because he finally got his guy. Like, he finally recruited his guy, and he didn't really get to see that guy developed to his full potential.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping Faison Brandon will be that guy he brings in, top quarterback in the country. And unless he falls to a 3-star, because it seems like anytime Tennessee recruits a guy, he can be the best player in the country, then he drops 2 stars immediately whenever he puts a power T on, So, but I would be happy. I think I would be happy if we were maybe a little bit better than last year. I mean, just so many unknowns. Just kind of hard to say at this point, I guess.
Yeah, it is. And it's that's a good point about Nico. That's his guy he brought in. We saw 1 year of him in it, and then he overplayed his hand trying to get cute, him and his family, and it didn't work out for anybody, I don't really think. But I mean, we'll see with Aguilar. I think he's more of a gunslinger. The question is, will he protect the football? And but I have reason to believe that. I mean, you go back to Hooker's last year at Virginia Tech before he came to Tennessee. He didn't look like – I remember – because I didn't watch – I can't stand Virginia Tech, so I don't watch them a lot. But people up around the Tri-Cities, I'm asking, they were like, he's inconsistent. And then the dude comes to Tennessee and just blows up. Like I said, the quarterback whisper in there. how much did Alex Golish have to do with it too? But I mean, at the same time, Joey Halsley's quarterback coach, you got to give him some credit too in there. My question with Aguilar is just, can he make the smart decisions or will he force the football? And but I think he's got better talent. Right. I'm like you and funny, you talk about Kitzelman. Got him last year and nobody really thought much about it. He hardly caught the ball in Alabama. And man, what a pickup he ended up being.
Mm-hmm.
I think he could be big. There's at least, I still don't know much about Cole Harrison, tight end out of California from last year. Seems like he is practicing now, good sized guy. But Deshaun Brame, I mean, they keep raving about him. If he's as good as they say catching the ball, and they say he was used to blocking in high school, so that shouldn't be an issue for him. Yeah, run that 12 personnel, get them in, get some mismatches with it. Ethan Davis is one. Jack Van Dorselier is one. If your tight ends are that good, and like you said, the room looks to be probably the best on the offense, and I think the running back room is really good too. I think there's a lot of talent in the wide receiver room. It's just unproven.
Right.
And when you got guys not playing, I mean, I'm a little concerned about that because we need those guys to jive with the quarterback. It's going to get out there first game, and that's first time Joey Aguilar throws Chris Brazel a pass or something, Yeah, this dude was a mess. This guy was a big pickup, man, Colton Hood, especially if everything going on with the secondary. Jermod McCoy, of course, he keeps practicing more. That's a good sign. The Boo Carter stuff. Yeah, I saw this, Mason. Man, have you seen any of that?
Is this new stuff after?
Evidently, it's tonight. I saw it posted earlier. I mean, man, some of these people just need to stay off social media.
They do. They need a flip phone. That's all they need.
Everybody's entitled to their opinions. Everybody's entitled to post what they want to, man. But gosh, it's just not it's so counterproductive sometimes.
Well, you would think at some point they would, like a parent would realize they're causing more harm to their child than good by doing stuff like that. Just to me, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, especially when it's a guy who was in the doghouse. So, I mean, thankfully, it sounds like Boo himself is doing what he's supposed to be doing on it. And he's getting back. He's addressed the team. He's stacking, as they like to say, stacking day after day. That's all that really matters, to be honest. But, yeah, man, some of the parents, I don't follow them much. I follow Staley's dad, but I've got a connection there on it. Because I actually taught where he went to middle school at. I had his sister in my homeroom, as a matter of fact, the year. And he was in 8th grade because I tell this story. I didn't know the kid well then, but I'd wear Tennessee stuff. And he's like, "Are you a coach down there?" And I play. I was like, yeah, absolutely. He's like, "Well, man, I want to be recruited there." So that goes all the way back to 8th grade with Staley, which is pretty interesting. But by all means, seemed like a pretty good kid. And the guy he played for that year and in high school was a friend. So I know things there. But other than that, man, I don't follow players, recruits, none of that, unless there's some kind of relationship there. But I think that, gosh, it can be so counterproductive. And I get Boo's mama's passionate, but man, these Vol people like to stir the pot sometimes. Let's see what else we got here. And we'll kind of hit some of these. Let's see. Yeah, the Boo stuff. What's up, Kyle Beach? Good to see you in here, man. David Speaks said a rushing offense had almost 3,000. Yeah, what is it? They've gone, is it 2,500 each year under Heupel?
Mm-hmm.
So what's your opinion on the running back room?
Well, from what I was hearing, it seems like they're really high on Star Thomas. Looks like Heupel actually called him out specifically after the scrimmage and said he's going to be a dude, which Heupel doesn't do a whole lot. It seems like Heupel, when he gets up to a microphone, he says a lot without saying anything, really.
Yeah,
it seems like he doesn't really, it's almost like he talks in riddles. He never really says anything, but for him to specifically give a guy some praise, I think you could say, look out for some big stuff from him. I really like Bishop. It seems like he's one of those guys, almost like a Jawan Jennings. When he gets the ball, he just like runs,
Yeah.
Like he's trying to get somewhere, if that makes sense. Then Peyton
Any way
Lewis,
possible too.
yeah, like whatever he has to do to, get yards, seems like he's willing to do it. Then obviously Peyton Lewis, one of the fastest guys on the team. I look for him to be able to make some plays too. Feel really good about the running backs. I think it's a nice deep room this year, and the guy there was talking about the run game. I think the offensive line could be decent this year. From what I saw, it looked like Lance Hurd has lost about 25, 30 pounds of bad weight, and everyone says he's looking really good. Like he could be that guy that we thought he would be going into last year. And then looked like David Sanders had put on about 20, 25 pounds of good weight.
Yeah.
And so I think your left and right tackle are going to be pretty good. I don't know if they can figure out the center and guard, situation. Looks like no matter which way we go, it should be fairly decent. I don't think you're going to have a Cooper Mays at center or anything like that, but I think, the unit as a whole could be good. I think even David Sanders, that's a true freshman, I think will outplay John Campbell. I think John Campbell's maybe older than I am. I'm not even sure at this point. But, he was always due for, 4 or 5 costly penalties, and then he would usually leave the game at halftime. So, I don't want to talk bad about a guy, but it seemed like he never could just give us what we needed at that position. So I think the run game could be better this year, even with Dylan Sampson being gone. I don't know. It seems like, especially if we lean on the run even more this year, I think it could definitely be maybe the best part of our offense for sure.
I think you make an interesting point, and I agree with you on it. It's going to be hard to replace Cooper Mays and how good he was at center, but overall, I think the unit, because I felt like the guards were subpar last year. Like I said, John Campbell would get a couple penalties and then he'd disappear for a quarter, and we didn't run out Larry Johnson, or I'm trying to think, Dane Davis, and those guys. I mean, God bless them. They were out there, but it was just. But I've seen stuff too, and I think this is pretty interesting. They're able to run the football well, but the protection on the quarterbacks, or was it on the offensive line? I've seen stuff saying that maybe it's the offensive line that is not the problem in that, and that the quarterbacks were, that they're just holding on to the football too long. I mean, I kind of agree with that. What do you think? I mean, but at the same time, man, those tackles, especially against Oklahoma, got absolutely whipped. So, I mean, I don't know what you can do when you got about 2 seconds before you're getting the crap knocked out of you.
It seemed like we got a good dose of both. Seemed like we got a good dose of the tackles just getting. I specifically remember that one play from Oklahoma game. I can't remember what is it, Jackson Sawyer? Does that sound right? The guy from Oklahoma last year.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
He did a swim move, and like John Campbell is like his batteries in his controller died in the video game. He's just standing there, then he's taking Nico down. But also sometimes seemed like Nico would just hold on to the ball forever.
Yeah.
And either he'd hold on to it or he'd throw it in a double coverage or something like that. But that's one thing I did hear from scrimmage number 1 was the offensive line really struggled in pass pro. Ran the ball really efficiently, but pass pro was an issue. So kind of not what you want to hear 2 weeks away from the season. But I think it's probably a little bit of both as far as the passing woes we've had.
I'm hoping I would have been disappointed if I heard the offense did win the scrimmage.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, because I mean, I've even heard this going back to '98. The defense whipped the offense the entire camp, and then the offense, they were pretty good. I mean, they were pretty good that year. It was, there was some games they were lower scoring, but that was Fulmer. Fulmer was a run guy, and it was a pretty good while before they really kind of let T. Martin loose. But I mean, there's been other times too with it. But yeah, I'm thinking Sawyer was Ohio State.
Yeah, that is right.
But I know exactly what you're talking about, Oklahoma, because they just wore out the ends. in that game. What's up, Douglas Graham, member of the channel? Good to see you in here, man. I'm a little behind on questions. Yeah, I think you're going to, especially if the wide receivers are not doing their thing. I think if your strength's tight ends, got to go on it. Let's see.
That question there you just did, Frank, that was from my father-in-law
isn't it?
Mineral Springs, Tennessee, in the house right there.
There you go. Probably got some people out pushing the power stroke around the parking lot now, doesn't he?
Guarantee it.
Let's see. I can't remember. It was just a bunch of jumbo.
Not worth repeating, probably.
No, it's not. It's nothing to. It'd be a waste of time just to go look at it. I'm sure if you're on one of the pay boards, they post the screenshots. I'm sure it's on my Twitter or something too. What's up, Eric Turner? Good to see you in here, man. Yeah, I've seen some people. I need to check out Kirbyson's podcast. I've heard it's pretty good, but former player, of course, went to the scrimmage, said the team is deep in the trenches, said they look better run blocking, but pass protection would come along. I mean, too, look at the defensive line they're going against. I mean, and that, Joshua Joseph has not even been practicing. I mean, I'm high on the defense. I really am, especially when you get everybody healthy on it. You get McCoy healthy. Boo gets everything. It seems like he's on the right track. What's going to happen at safety? That's a little bit of a question, a little bit unproven there. But, people who have listened to me, I'm big time on Edwin Spillman. I think this dude is an absolute game changer at linebacker. I was excited about him last year. He was hurt most of the year. He did get to play in 4 games. But just seems to me like he brings that speed because linebackers struggled in coverage last year. Spillman, to me, seems like a guy who can cover his position. Remains to be seen, obviously, in the game. But then you've got, I counted it last week on the defensive line, including ends. There's over 15 dudes that could legitimately play, man. It's just crazy how they are. Yeah, David Speaks. He commented, I think it was David commented today about Pancakes and Bacon is the name of it. I need to check it out because I've heard they do some pretty good stuff, but said can be critical. The team didn't seem as worried as others. That was what I was curious about, is if some of the players, because I know Kirbyson does podcasts. Of course, Swain is in the media, but I don't listen to them, but I would be curious if they were there for it all. So the fact that Kirbyson, he played a good bit of football at Tennessee for sure. And the fact that he's not worried, that's a pretty good sign for me. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, I guess Sam says Syracuse is one-dimensional. We can shut them down. Let's go.
That'll be nice.
You think they could go 2 quarterbacks, or you think they settle on 1?
I highly doubt it. I think they go 1. Then if something doesn't go well, I can see them. I just don't see them running 2 consistently. Do you?
I don't. Unless it's just, I don't know how they really, since we've not really seen a lot of game, I don't know how the skill, from what I've heard, McIntyre is the most athletic of the group. But, based on Aguilar, what I've seen, he can make plays. I think all 3 of them can make plays with their feet. So I don't know where because I'm trying to think, when's the last time we went 2 quarterbacks? Was it back to Ainge Schaefer? Do you remember that?
That was probably right whenever I was first getting interested.
So Ainge Schaefer, they went 2 quarterbacks, and they were drastically different. Ainge could escape, but Schaefer was a dual threat guy before he got kicked off. And I remember the South Carolina game that year, and I loved it. That was when Randy Sanders, I thought Randy Sanders did a fantastic job that year as an offensive coordinator. They put in a scheme where almost every other play or two, they were rotating in and out. And they didn't do that a lot. But, man, they wore South Carolina out with that. And then I think Schaefer got kicked off not long after that, so we didn't get to see it a lot. But, I mean, I know under freaking Pruitt that they played numerous guys. Butch, too, but I wouldn't say it was necessarily a rotation, I wouldn't say. And I don't see it. I'd be surprised if Heupel did it. But, I mean,
I remember if it was like Brian Maurer and Harrison Bailey and JT Stroud were all kind of that one year they all kind of flip-flopped. Like they tried to run Brian Maurer a little bit, it seemed like, but I wouldn't really consider that playing too consistently. Just I think they were just looking for anything that they could find at that point.
Was Garantano he was still in the mix too, right?
Yeah, maybe it was Garantano and not Harrison Bailey. Maybe he hadn't quite got there yet, I guess.
I know the last year when they did the 10-game schedule, man, I feel like it might have been all four of them.
That may have been Harrison Bailey's
I know Harrison
year.
Bailey played some. I feel like Trout played. I swear I think all four of them was in because didn't all four of them transfer?
Yeah.
That's when they brought Hooker or Harrison Bailey, I think, transferred maybe the middle of the next season or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's see here. Yeah, this is a good talking about offensive line here. Jesse Perry, man, looking like he's stepping up, going to be that right guard. So that puts Pendleton. And people like criticize Glenn Ellerby a lot, say, well, it's his portal guys. It's not guys he's recruited. Well, Sanders was recruited. Jesse Perry's recruited. Satterwhite, he's going to factor in some.
Mm-hmm.
Umarov factors in. Their backups are guys recruited. It's just taking time, man. I think they're coming along, and they're stringing together good class after good class. I don't think you can ask for much more than that. I think the trajectory of this program is really high right now. And yeah, I think this is a good point. We can rotate some guys in on the offensive line, and maybe it's not a drastic drop off. Remains to be seen on that. What's up, Princey Poo? Good to have you in here. Let's see. Definitely want to talk about this here in just a moment. We'll talk about the polls here. Slick Biker. That's what I've heard too, that Edwin Spillman absolutely brings the violence. They said that about Jaden Perlotti too. I see William Ange said, we've got to tell him to slow down with it. Spillman brings the violence. Farouk at safety brings the violence. I really think Harmon and Perlotti, I don't know how much they play, but they could bring it. From what I remember, Boo ain't afraid to lay a lick either, is he?
No, he likes to lay the lick. He likes to talk after he does it.
That's right. That's right. Let's see what we got. I'm still catching up here. I could see this right here for sure. I think we beat Syracuse in cover. I really do. I don't know if I would say I think it's one of those, and it could be wrong, where I think it'll be a comfortable victory. I really do.
We don't cover against Syracuse. I don't feel great going into Georgia. Do you?
No, not at all. Because that means one of two things has happened. Either the offense has not gotten the job done or the defense didn't do its job. So, last three ACC teams by 30. So we beat NC State, Virginia, and Clemson. Clemson thought they were all big and bad, and Joe Milton wore them out.
He did. And I was so excited after that Orange Bowl going into 23. Yeah. I thought he was going to, win the Heisman the next year.
Harrison Bailey, the next man. People literally thought he was going to be the next Peyton Manning, and the sucker. It'll be real interesting. Kyle brings up a good point here. Now he's at Florida.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yeah. He's been it.
You go to UNLV.
He was at Louisville, and then Now he's at Florida. That would be something else. We go down there to play him, and then
He lights us up,
Lagway's
man.
hurt and Harrison Bailey beats us.
What a storybook ending that would be for him.
Yeah, would. Yeah, for him it would be. Let's see. We've played ACC every year. Heupel's been there.
Yep.
I just now put that because first 2 years we played Pitt, and should have beat them the first year. Was probably lucky to beat them the second year, but
yeah.
I mean, just same as they were. Like, I mean, if Milton didn't miss 4 wide open guys in the first quarter,
yeah,
that's over with.
Then the next year was Hooker targeted Tillman like 22 times or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Just,
yeah, you would have thought based on that game that the Biletnikoff winner, if you would have known in advance, it would have been Tillman. But didn't he battle some injuries that year?
He did.
But he was, I mean, both those guys, I mean, Brew did well. Keaton did well. I mean, that just goes to show you, I think, the quarterback, because we saw Keaton the next year drop off. So we saw Brew, I mean, this past year, he was okay. He was decent. I mean, look at Dante Thornton. He got his opportunities and did stuff, and then now he's starting for the Raiders. So, I mean, he's put it in there going. Talking about the rankings here. So Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken, 18th in the coaches, 24th in the AP. Thoughts on that? Too high, too low, just right?
I think the departure of Nico really played in Tennessee falling down the rankings. I think if he would have come back, you would have seen us be somewhere in that probably 16 to 20 range, if I had to guess. But I mean, for all the teams that are ranked above us in the SEC, it seems like they all just have proven quarterbacks. Like you got Florida, you've got Lagway, South Carolina, you've got Sellers. I'm not sure exactly what the Ole Miss quarterback situation looks like exactly. But Texas, obviously you have Arch. I'm okay with it, to be honest. I think that's about right. I don't think you could really argue us being any higher with some of the question marks on offense. I'm not sure exactly. I don't know exactly what teams like SMU and them have going on. So I think we're about right for where they put us at. If we come out and handle Syracuse really easily and obviously blow ETSU out, I could see us maybe creeping up a few spots. But that game against Georgia, I don't think a whole lot. Really doesn't matter where you're ranked right now until you go play something like a big dog like Georgia. And I honestly, I kind of like us being ranked a little bit lower this year. Maybe sneak up on some people. Because it seems like we've been rated, around 10 to 15 the last few years. I don't really have a problem with being, ranked on that, outer edge of the top 25 this time.
Yeah, I agree on that. It seems like Tennessee, when their kind of backs against the wall, are a little different. I'm kind of wondering, it's a bit of a I wouldn't say drastic, but sixth place. I'm looking at both polls here. Yeah. Let me share that up. We'll kind of look at these together. They've switched some stuff around here. Here we go. All right, let me find. There we go. So look at the polls. Of course, Texas unanimous. A lot of it's pretty close with it. I mean, look at the AP poll. You got Texas, Georgia, Alabama, LSU, South Carolina, Florida, Oklahoma, A&M, Ole Miss, all ahead of Tennessee. So Tennessee preseason 10th, 24th overall, 10th in the conference. That's pretty crazy, actually. A little higher up in the coaches poll here as well. But, I mean, I still think it's a year, though. Tennessee's schedule's favorable. Now, I hadn't even asked you I know you've looked at the schedule. What's your prediction on the season?
I'm kind of in the just right now unbiased opinion. I think we go probably 9-3. Just until Heupel can go on the road and win some of those games that he's supposed to win, or even steal one. I just don't have the confidence going on the road and Tuscaloosa or Gainesville. And then, at this point in time, I just don't see them beating Georgia at home either. I think they're capable of winning any of those 3 games if the team shows up, plays well. But at this point in time, I could see us going 9-3. Could easily go 10-2 or even 11-1. But I don't see us doing much worse than 8-4 though.
I think 8-4 is the floor. I really do, just because they have that game. They've had it each year where it's like, what just happened?
Yeah.
I just seen so Texas first time been number 1 going into the year. I didn't realize that, but I just saw too that said Texas is the underdog in week 1 as well against Ohio State. So that's pretty interesting.
Really?
Yeah, let's see. How did it term this here? It says first number 1 team to be an underdog in week 1. That's pretty interesting. But
Really?
I mean, Ohio State, they're breaking in new quarterback too. Looks like Alabama did name Ty Simpson as the starter. No surprise there. But I went 9-3 in my reason on it. I mean, Georgia's dominated Heupel since he's been there. Last year was the closest, and we've not beaten Florida nor Alabama since 2003 on the road. So, I mean, and I don't know how many times I felt we should have beat Florida on the road. Not so much Alabama during that time. Actually, 2007 surprised me. That was Saban's first year. Thought we could take them, and they drilled us. And that onside kick right off the bat, never looked back. And then, I mean, there was a year Jones, Tennessee had the lead late and lost at the end. I think that's when Bama had Derrick Henry. But, I mean, those Florida games, I don't know how many of those years I look back on and be like, there was no reason to lose that game other than just crapping the bed absolutely full. I mean, it's just some of the most unimaginable things happen in those games where you're just sitting there at the end like, did this really just happen? And that's but
I can't remember what year it was whenever Felipe Franks, he threw the Hail Mary at the end of the game to beat us. I mean, I think as time expired as well.
Yeah.
That's just one of those where you're just like, how? I mean, just keep the guy in front of you. There's no time left, but that's what happens. That's what happens against Florida for us, seems like.
That was the exact same coverage 2 years in a row. That's when Bob Shoop, everybody was wanting Bob Shoop, even though John Jancic was pretty solid, I thought. So Butch goes and gets Bob Shoop, and that the Dobnell boot at Georgia, same thing happened. Remember that when Eason stepped up? It looked to me like both games, same coverage, same result. We just got lucky against Georgia. There was time left on the clock, and then they totally botched the kickoff and got a penalty too with it. But yeah, I remember that one. And then it was 2 years prior to that. I guess that would have been 2015. Tennessee goes up. Butch kicks an extra point instead of going for 2. And would we lose by 1 point? Was it?
So.
Where it was 4th and 15, and all of a sudden they hit a touchdown and missed a long field goal to win it. It's just that game to me was the one where I sat there in disbelief at the end. Like, how in the world did we lose this football game? It was that was kind of almost a turning point for me on Butch Jones a little bit. But, I mean, well, I would go to the next year. Well, that one because it was on the road, but even though it was so bad. But then the next year, 16, I think, was that the year where controlled their own destiny and then lost to South Carolina and Vandy at the end of the year?
Yes, 16. Yeah, because that's one everyone was saying it was a team of destiny because they had the Georgia game, and then everyone thought we were just destined to win. Then they lost to A&M. Yeah, that's whenever Alvin Kamara had like 6 touchdowns and we still lost somehow. Then they lose to Vanderbilt. Got
beaten overtime, and that's when it seemed like, because I think Bama beat us pretty handily after that. And then I can't remember from there, but I remember the South Carolina one. Maybe I don't feel like we lost 4 games that year, did we? Or am I wrong?
I'm pretty sure we went 9-3 that year, right?
Because I know
Bama and
Nebraska. I swear, though, I feel like we lost to Vandy, and I've watched too much football. That was 2016. Let's see here. Schedule. Whoa, no, it's not 2016. Yeah, 9-4. That's right.
Okay.
9-4. Yeah, I forgot 2017 was 4-8. Good grief. That was a brutal one. That was the Felipe Franks one there. Yeah, let's see. Well, I mean, that's like Florida and Knoxville beat them 38-28, but they were down by what, like 3 touchdowns in the first quarter, first half?
Yeah, 21-3.
Dobnell, Georgia, 34-31, lost to A&M 45-38, 2 overtimes. Bama beat us 49-10. And then off week, and yeah, that's come back and lost at South Carolina, beat Tennessee Tech, beat Kentucky, beat Missouri, and then lost at Vandy at the end of the season because it was still said at that point they could get a New Year's Six bowl at the time. And now I remember I went to the Big Orange Caravan the next year, and I was standing there listening to Butch just go on about bragging about 9 wins. And I think I was like, what are you doing? I started to holler up there and just be like, shut up, man.
Champions
How
life,
can
man.
you tout that with all the talent that they had on the roster that year? Just ridiculous, man. Man, I'll tell you what, I remember Ryan, I think, put this. If Aguilar throws for 3,027 touchdowns, 63%, only 7 INTs, I like our chances to be in the playoffs again because we're going to run the football. If his numbers are that good, we're in the playoffs. We'll beat one of those 3, Georgia, Florida, Bama, maybe even a couple of them if his numbers are that good.
That's a dream scenario right there. If he puts up those numbers, we're going to be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for comparison's sake, I want to look at it because obviously we know the best year we've had in a long time was 2022. I want to look back at Hooker's stats that year. Of course, he missed some games, so it's probably not a really accurate.
I want to say it was like, 27 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Yeah, it
that
was,
year.
It was really good. It was really good. Here we go. Let's see. We want 2022 cumulative stats as they're taking their time on pulling up. Now, if he's anywhere in that regard, I'd be pretty happy with it. But, I mean, if people look back at Nico's stats last year, you'd think he had a big year. But, I mean, he did most of his damage against the non-conference teams. He had, Vanderbilt game, he was pretty good, I thought. As far as conference, I don't know beyond that.
I know he lit Kent State up because I was at that game, but
yeah, he lit Kent State and Chattanooga up for sure. Because everybody, I mean, even analysts was like, this guy's the real deal. But let's see where. I mean, the reason I almost say 9-3 is the floor is because I think, unless Oklahoma's ranked higher, I just always like Tennessee to win at home. They're hard to beat in Knoxville. At this point, your road games are against Kentucky and Mississippi State in conference, besides Florida and Alabama. I just think that's almost a perfect scenario this year that you get those 2 on the road. And, you've got, Vandy and Oklahoma. See, Vandy, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Georgia at home. That's pretty favorable. That's a pretty favorable schedule. If you can just get one of those 3, that's all you need. And you don't slip up against somebody, you're in the playoffs at 10-2. It's going to depend on quarterback play. I feel like we'll run the ball well. Your kickers are coming back. We've not heard nothing about them hardly. So, but that's a good sign you get them back. They were decent last year. Defense, as long as they get everybody healthy, Well, once you get McCoy back and you don't get any other devastating injuries, I mean, it's football. It could happen anytime you get him back. Ricky Gibson was back today. Man, just a lot of talent on that defense. And you add in a Spillman or maybe some others. Colton Hood looks like a big pickup. If Jordan Ross develops, Caleb Herring develops. Biggest thing they said is getting to the quarterback. That's the biggest thing, is getting to the quarterback. And if they can do that, it'll make some teams live pretty hard. What's up, Big Orange? Good to see you in here. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. We're about 9, so we need to wrap this thing up here. Night's just getting started for you, though, down there on Central Time, though, right?
Yeah, just turned over 8 o'clock. So
yeah,
got at least another couple hours before bedtime.
There you go. Any final thoughts? Let's go. Appreciate Backwoods coming on tonight. Always good to have him on here. Any final thoughts before we wrap this thing up?
Well, it's funny there. You just you mentioned Oklahoma, being ranked, several spots higher than Tennessee, but then ESPN has us as almost a touchdown favorite in Knoxville. Just goes to show you what that.
Really?
Yeah. So kind of thought that was interesting. Final thoughts, man. I'm definitely excited for the year. I think this team has a lot of potential. Just seems like every year Heupel's been there, we either have a dominant offense or a dominant defense. We just can't seem to quite get both in the same year. I'd say Hendon Hooker probably give one of his big toes to have the defense that Tennessee has right now in 22.
Man.
But a lot of things to be excited about, a lot of question marks, but that's what makes it fun.
Yeah, I wonder, too, talking about the rankings there, and I know they do. I think these guys just look at them, the teams, from a talent standpoint. I don't think they look at the freaking schedule, to be honest with you. I mean, like I said, Oklahoma coming to Knoxville, I hadn't seen that. Actually, I don't think that they're a touchdown underdog right now. But, I mean, I think of South Carolina. They've got them around 13. South Carolina's got a brutal schedule this year. And I know everybody's trying to crown Sellers as this. If teams make him throw and they can contain him, easier said than done. I still don't know that he's that quarterback can beat you throwing. And Lagway, I mean, we'll see on him. They've crowned him one of the best in the nation. Some have said he's right up there with Arch or behind him. Or maybe I've seen, let me rephrase that. No, it'd be the same. Never mind. I keep forgetting sometimes Texas is SEC now. But, I mean, what's Lagway really done to – I mean, he had his moments on it. I just on the schedule stuff, man, I don't think they look at him. I really don't.
Thing with Lagway, seems like he can't stay healthy, though. So how does that play into Florida's success this year?
And he's been hurt some in preseason here too, for sure. So that's something. It seems like, I mean, Nussmeier for LSU says has been dealing with injuries. So I don't know, man. It's just different. Maybe it's, I don't keep up with the other teams preseason, obviously, like I do Tennessee. The injuries are questioning, but maybe I think a lot of them's precautionary, probably. I mean, if a guy's got something bothering him right now, I mean, you don't want to risk it in August, at least. But, yeah, that's pretty interesting, but I'm excited. I'm excited about this team. We'll see how it goes. Syracuse will probably we'll learn something in that game. We'll learn something enough to where it's either, man, there's some holes right here that's going to get exposed against Georgia, or it's going to be like, man, that was a heck of a performance. We'll see if they can do it against Georgia, or, oh, my goodness, we're in trouble. It'll be one of the three on there.
I'm actually really curious what you think about this, too, right before we get off. What do you think about Pavia's comments during the offseason? Do you not have a problem with it? Do you think he's going a little bit too far? I mean, it seems like, the crowd, the team apart, the Tennessee crowd, it doesn't take much to get them motivated to be loud.
No.
I think, what was it? I can't remember who it was from Alabama's team said something about it not being that loud. Well, then I turned the game on to the game hadn't come on ABC or whatever yet. So I found like a live stream, and like it was just static. Like you couldn't hear anything. I think Neyland's going to be insane whenever Vanderbilt comes to town. Did you happen to catch that Netflix thing that they did around the SEC and see his comments on there?
I have not watched it. I know what you're talking. I've seen the comments and stuff. I mean, I don't really mind it. I don't expect him to say he loves Tennessee or nothing, but I mean, I'm one of those that not a lot of it bothers me and stuff. But, you know, they're talking national championship at Vandy. Come on, man. And I mean, especially, I mean, he did some good things last year, but Tennessee dominated him. His numbers were awful. He did nothing against Tennessee. I just think he's a mouth. I think he's a mouth is what he is. He'll have some games. But, yeah, when he comes to Knoxville, if he's not – as long as he's their quarterback still, yeah, Neyland will take that Vandy game very serious that night. And we'll find out about him. But I'll be curious. I need to watch some of that and see because that's – Vanderbilt definitely hates Tennessee, but I mean, when you're a little brother, you normally do.
What do you expect?
I mean, it's the way it should be. It's the way it should be with it. I would hope guys hate Vanderbilt for Tennessee, Bama, Florida, whomever with it. But nah, he said what he said. He didn't back it up. We know that. So yeah, he's a good soundbite. That's for sure. But, you know, actions speak louder than words too. But
I think he's one of those guys. He knows his time's coming. You know, he's going to probably not have – he's kind of like a Tim Tebow kind of guy. I think college is going to be his ceiling, and he knows he better take advantage of the limelight while he's got it. And he definitely is.
Yeah. I mean, he's a pretty good football player. I mean, I'll give him that. He's a good football player, but I mean, it's still Vandy. That was the first time they've been to a bowl in a bit. So I think more of this one, the Pavia versus Osuna. Didn't the ruling come out extra year while he was still playing? It was before the season was out, right?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Osuna, he was done, I think. Not saying it's right. I mean, it was a screwy rule, to be honest. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see how it is going forward, too. It benefits some guys, but this stuff's also changing. It could change any moment. But, you know, we'll see. We're going to wrap up and get out here on that one. We're about an hour and 10. Thank you guys for tuning in. End up had a good crowd once we got going. Once we got into the flow there, had a good crowd. Appreciate Backwoods coming on. Hope to get him on again here in the future. You guys have a great rest of your evening. He's Backwoods, Tennessee. This is Frank. And your YouTube channel, we didn't plug it. Backwoods, Tennessee. Is that right?
That's right, man. There's haven't made a video in a while, but there's all kinds of good logging videos if you're interested in that kind of stuff. Just some folks from the mountain cutting down trees, all that good stuff. So if you like that kind of stuff, check it out.
Yep, pretty cool channel. So, all right, guys, y'all have a great rest of your evening. Backwoods, this is Frank. We'll see you when we see you.